colors, but there were all these names of colors. Every company would have all these names, and some of them they would be named after weird things like battles, like famous battles in the news.
Weird.
And in fact, that's what magenta is.
Really?
It's a battle. Yeah.
So do you see like that there has to be a standardization of names for the same colors occurring in the like industrial era?
Well, no. See, every dye company had its own colors.
So crazy.
What you end up with is kind of numbers mapping to names. But it's just like paints today, or I mean dyes today too. They're not standardized.
Well, I think about that, like when you have the codes and you put them in when you're making a website or something, so that you can standardize it. You know.
What do you want? And I remember when I was working on the Substance of Style at the very beginning, I went to this. I forget what they call it, like aesthetic center or something like that, at 3M. I mean, that GE Plastics, which has since been sold, had. And one of the things they had there was a way to keep the color, a way of standardizing color. So let's say you're making a green plastic shell for your vacuum cleaner. I happen to have one right here. And you want the green on the plastic to be the same regardless of which of the factories in your supply chain it's made in. And you want the green on the box, which is not plastic, but, ink, to match as closely as possible your standardized ink. And you want the green on the website to be all these different media. And they were working on how do you standardize all that, which is it's a difficult problem. Yeah. And people who do digital inks today struggle with that too.
It's really interesting. So we're at the beginning of this project, so I would love to chat with you as we continue. But so right now we're almost at 75 interviews since Thanksgiving, which is a lot. It's a lot. And we're going to go into phase 2 soon, which is looking at specific industries like batting, fabric, machines, that sort of thing. And I'm curious from your perspective, like what kinds of questions do you think we should be asking, or if you could ask questions like what makes you curious about the current practices with fabric that we might not think about as we go forward?
Well, first of all, you absolutely have to go to I just lost the name, the place in North Carolina that does the
Spoonflower.
Yeah, Spoonflower.
Yeah,
I interviewed the CEO there.
You did?
It was a fantastic interview. Yeah, I can send you my transcript.
I would love it.
So, this is just, but.
Yeah, I would love, yeah. And Spoonflower is fascinating. Did you find it interesting?
I found it very interesting, yeah. Yeah, it's really interesting. He was a really interesting interview. And it's just an interesting story. One thing that's funny is that it's not that big, and people think it's huge, which I didn't realize. People thought it was so huge, but he made that point.
It's funny.
Garth Davis and Spoonflower. One thing that I would be interested in is quilting fabric originally was fabric that had been used for some other purpose and was being recycled.
Yeah.
And now people design fabrics specifically for quilting.
Right.
And I wonder how that affects the design. Are the designs different?
Mm-hmm.
Are there particular elements that make something a quilting fabric as opposed to just a fabric? Mm-hmm. Do people, could you? And also, does that? Let's see. Is there any carryover into what's considered a quilting fabric from, like is it something that's a design that would have been popular back when people were
right.
recycling their dresses or not? How does and so that's one thing. Also, it might be interesting to look at crazy quilts. One thing that I learned, it's not in that article as I recall, but crazy quilts where they are patchwork, but the patches are sort of random, and they were made of silk, and that suggests that each scrap was more valuable.
Yeah,
I mean, it's in a period where silk was the common material for dresses. I mean, so that these were, it wasn't in the 18th century or something where only very rich people had silk. I mean, these were dresses that women would have had, but it's more precious than the other kinds of silk. Anyway, and I wonder that I would just be interested in more of the history of that, which I don't know.
That's really interesting. Well, we are just on the beginning journey, so we'll see where it takes us.
And the copyright issues are interesting. What can you copyright? What can't you copyright? I assume you can copyright a fabric design, but you can copyright a geometric pattern, or can you?
No, you're right.
Is it just that you can't copyright a geometric pattern that was used a long time ago in the 19th century or something, but you can copyright if you come up with something new.
Yeah. Well, I'm really interested, and I'm really curious if there's any self-regulation in the fabric industry. If they are, there are some cases, but I'm really curious how that industry works in terms of just all of it. So we haven't quite gotten there yet. We're still trying to just get kind of the landscape of what is quilting, but we're trying to, in the next iteration of interviews, we'll start to get more specific. So yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much. It was fun.
Thank you. This was really great. And again, put me on your list because I think your work, I really do. I can't wait to read it. I think it'll be really interesting.
Okay, thanks.
Awesome. Thank you again. Thanks for your time. Take care. Bye-bye. So this is Elizabeth Townsend-Gard. You've been listening to Just Wanna Quilt, a research podcast coming out of Tulane University Law School. We want to hear from you. Join our army, our quilting army. Go to our Facebook page. Suggest people to be interviewed. Suggest yourself to be interviewed. We are excited to hear from you. But most importantly, I hope you get a chance to quilt today.